I'm gonna be honest. I was not expecting the final episode of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid to be this damn good. Not only was this my favorite episode of the series, this makes it feel like maybe we don't need a season 2. Like, we could get a season 2, and I'm gonna be right there watching. But this was such a heartwarming and emotional episode that it just makes me feel so damn happy. I see how far Kobayashi and Toru have just grown and developed. This was an unexpected episode, as I was thinking it was gonna be rather more serious based on how the episode of last week ends and just the preview. But I was not ready for this. One thing I have to compliment, right off the bat, the animation on Kobayashi when she learns that Toru has went home. Something that anime struggles with, at least in my opinion, is when characters react. Because if you were to break news to someone that is just horrible news to them, generally you'll see facial reactions of just almost shock and then sadness and then just, it's a range of emotions that's really hard to portray when it comes to animation. But I felt with this episode, there is just this subtle levelty of animation where you see Kobayashi's eyes just kind of like light up. But it's not over dramatic. It feels so natural where she's just shocked, like she went home. And then you can see the sadness sinking into her face, and that level of detail is present in the entire episode. And that's something I think really needs to be appreciated, because animation, to be able to portray a human emotion like that, which is a range of human emotions, in a face on an anime character is not an easy thing to do, and this was simply stunning. I mean, the episode overall looked fantastic, but that is the highlight to me. Kobayashi really letting reality sink in that the one she loves, the one that she's been spending time with all this time, is gone and she's not coming back. And that level of realism in the animation was simply phenomenal. The overall episode, to see how much Kobayashi, Toru, and Kana have relied on one another, as they are this big family. Kana is more or less Kobayashi's daughter, like, that's kind of the relationship they share. And more or less, Kobayashi kind of relies on Toru as being the wife, like, the one who makes the dinner, who takes care of them, who does all these things that she naturally can't do because she works such long hours. And when you remove that mother aspect, everything falls apart, which something that happens a lot with divorces, especially if a father or even a mother, because sometimes the father does the cooking and all that kind of stuff, but when you remove that one central figure and you're trying to adjust, everything always pretty much falls apart unless you just really have it made, which rarely most mothers and fathers don't have that made once they removed someone they've relied on for so long. And just seeing how Kana and just Kobayashi just couldn't, just adapt to Toru leaving, it was so fucking sad to see that. Like, it was like, I feel so bad for them, and I was actually questioning, is she gonna come back? Which, when you see it, you would think, well, of course she's gonna come back. You know, it's Toru, she loves Kobayashi. But they really sold me. They really sold me on, maybe she's not gonna come back, or maybe she'll come back, but they will have to have a heartfelt goodbye, like, they will have to separate. So when Kobayashi just talks back to Toru's father saying, I love her, like, she's my maid, I want her to stay, she wants to say, you can't do this. But Toru's father is saying, like, we can't have dragons living in this world. We don't match. You guys have short lifespans, we don't. And if more dragons come to this world, they'll eventually see, oh, dragons are here, we're going to evade. It's going to cause a war. And Kobayashi's saying, like, you can't blame Toru for that happening. If it does, you're pretty much trying to separate people before anything happens, which is something that always happens in our world, which you can't fucking do. And I loved the final, conversation when Kobayashi's saying, just kind of talks back to Toru's father, and he, is kind of, I feel like it's a level of impressed, because he sees, this puny human is willing to go this far for my daughter, and she kind of makes sense, but I'm not going to give her, this, okay, you're right. It's more of, do whatever the hell you want. So he still doesn't agree with it, but it's this level of almost, he's impressed, but also kind of disgusted, but he lets it be, at least for now. And to even see, Kobayashi saying, I want to go home for a bit. It's the first time I've ever really done this, and she even invites Kana and Toru to go with them. And this episode does a lot in such a short amount of time. You get a little bit with some of the side characters, granted they're not the main focus, it's Kana, Kobayashi, and Toru. But there was a lot that happened in this episode, and it was the most emotional, and I think the best episode of this series, and if we never get a second season, this would be fine. They truly made me connect to these characters. I truly feel like I watched these characters grow, learn, and really became a really weird family. 2 dragons and a human that both need each other, and the moral of the story was, why would you want to just not be with someone because you might not have a long time with them? Embrace the time you have with them and cherish that, which is something people should really take note of, because that's a true life lesson. This anime impressed me. This anime is something truly special. I love this anime from start to finish, from the aesthetic design choices with the art and animation to the voice acting that really hits home. Also, the soundtrack was pretty good as well. I mean, it wasn't extraordinary, but it was definitely served the purpose it needed to. And just the story and characters was just perfect for me. This is my kind of anime. And if they make a season 2, I'm going to be watching, but if we only get this and maybe an OVA or two, that's perfectly fine. I loved my time with Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and I'm really gonna miss this series. But for anyone who watched this episode, did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just okay? Let me know your thoughts on the final episode down in the comment section below. Before you leave, hit that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.